Hey everybody, Robin Knott here with the Energy Healing Lifestyle Journal Self-Care Challenge Day 34. We are on a roll, you guys. I love it. So today being Saturday, we talk about, I'm still trying to find me. It says we're live. I want to share us. There we go. We talk about alignment and the third eye chakra and being an observer. Thinking of awareness, but inner awareness, right? Inner awareness, that deeper awareness of ourselves, which in itself kind of struck me funny today because as I was journaling on that inner awareness and I was journaling on the higher awareness, clarity is a real thing. Let me just share me out a couple other places. Actually, I want to speak to that real quick because I was writing it and really just driving it home for myself. So that inner awareness that we talk about, that self-awareness, that higher consciousness is really that deeper within inner awareness. So again, was driving it home for me today because sometimes or throughout my spiritual journey, right, my awakening journey and experiences and learning and meditation and researching and all the things, when I thought of that deeper awareness, I was still thinking a bit outside of myself. Not that it's all me, but I was thinking of deep diving into like topics, into areas, into beliefs, into systems, right? Which was in a sense outside of me, within me too. But today, it just really drove home that deeper inner self awareness and how important that is. And with the alignment, I could feel my tongue want to take off like on a rampage and just hit a 5K marathon. So I took a deep breath to slow down. Hey, love. Hey, Iona. How are you? I came on like seconds after 1 p.m. I was mindful of the time today. But I'm really excited and I'm loving this journaling process even more as we go. Did the same start off today, just kind of writing each area, right? Having that self-awareness to assess where I'm at and to get into alignment. And that third part really did some clicking for me today as well, that being in alignment. Yesterday I'm reflecting on, I made that statement that in a sense, we are in alignment with something, right? We are in alignment with ourselves, but what layer, which aspect with ego self or higher self, just like I talked about communication and speaking your truth, right? Really delving into that more. We do speak our truth. We say it differently because we apply a different meaning to it, but technically, quote unquote, technically, we do speak our truth. It's just which truth are we speaking from? Which energy, which vibration, which frequency are we speaking from, right? The lower ego humanness or the high, am I talking too fast? Because I feel that excitement about today's conversation. If I need to slow down, I will. So let me know. Or is it that higher vibration, right? Which truth do we speak? Well, alignment is the same, right? We are in a form of alignment, if you will, because we say we manifest whatever we're in alignment with. So in a sense, we're always in an alignment of, again, words, definitions, how we define it, how we explain it, how we see it and visualize it and understand it. So are we in alignment with more of that humanness, ego self in that lower vibration? Is that what we're calling in more of, right? Law of attraction, law of vibration. When we're in the lower vibration, quote unquote, lower vibrational frequency, and again, it's not judgment, it's just awareness, right? Being the observer of ourselves. Do I need to slow down? Talk it out as it comes. I'm on it. I'm going to pull your comments up in a minute. Um, yes, whatever vibrational frequency, yeah, where that's what we're calling in, right? And we call in whatever we need to see. So when people talk about the mirror effects, right? And we don't have differences of opinions on that still, but in a lot of ways, I can see exactly what they mean by that, and I can see it for myself. Or I can see it in a sense of being a mirror to show me that there's a layer within me, in my energy body that needs to be healed. So when I reflect back, and I've been Poor mom. I've been using her for the example, right? Because it's been a journey in just the past year and a half being here, almost 2 years being, whew, next month it'll be 2 years. 2 years being here, it was a rough start. So it was hard to see all these things and how I was being triggered. But all those triggered, and Iona, you talked about this a bit today. When we get triggered, we see that there is something in us still that needs to be healed, right? In our energy body. The layers, right? Layers upon layers upon layers, and those memories there, and those things that are still kind of lingering, waiting for our attention to give it some love and compassion so it can be released, right? But it's the triggers that allow us to see that. It gives us that awareness so we can observe where we're at, what we're calling in, and to focus on where we want to align. So aware, assess, is that where I want to be? Heck no, who wants to be in trigger mode, right? And to be in alignment. So we heal that and we can see how we want to get into an alignment with the higher self, the higher vibrational frequency. So just even reflecting back and watching some of the videos with Esther Abraham Hicks, right? And a lot of the people that she talks to, they have the questions about manifestation because by how would they understand what is being explained, right? Abe, you say do this, this, and this, and I've been doing this, this, and this, and still, right? There's still a thing, there's still something, it's not coming yet. Sometimes it's the yet part, it's just waiting for us to receive it, to really fully receive it. And part of it, I believe, is because of this, right? What we're in alignment with. If we're not in, ooh, and I'm getting those hot flashes. If we're not in, if our vibration, our frequency is not yet in alignment with the thing we were trying to manifest or that our minds are saying that we want to manifest, then we're not going to receive it just yet. We have to clear out the gunk. We have to clear the thing and give the attention to whatever thing that is that's still residing there for us to clear and heal. And then when that is cleared and released, we can vibrate up, right, to then receive whatever it is, that thing that we're manifesting. So today being all about observing and the alignment and being aware and assessing where we're at, just to notice. And one of the biggest ways, I was like, how do you really check in with that? Like, how do you determine, am I in alignment with my highest versus my human ego self? And that's look around, like literally look around. I forgot about the phone again. Sorry, guys. Is this what I want? Is this my highest? And it's always spam risk. Sorry. On a Saturday. Come on, scammers. Give it a break. Sorry. Might as well joke it off, right? Yeah. Do I want to call in more scammers in my life? No. I'm just being funny. Anyway, taking the opportunity each day, of course, to be aware, assess, and align. But again, today is focusing on that alignment. Look within and look right directly around you. Is this the life that I feel is in my highest? Now, if I'm not sure, because let me also say that my ego could say, all kinds of things, to be fair, all kinds of things. What more could you ask for? It's not, it's not bad. Be grateful. Well, let me beat you up for a little bit for not being grateful for what you have. Or apparently you wanted it or you wouldn't be in it, or like it could do all kinds of things, right? But a way to tell the difference is, and again, I talk on this, but just different perspectives and how it clicks in and how we see it in those moments. In my acronym of Best You, in my system of Best You, Crown Chakra, unconditional love, right? That you, for Best You, unconditional love, that, are we in alignment? Is this life experience that I'm having right now, is all the things that I am manifesting, because we are manifesting whether we think we are or not, is that in alignment with unconditional love? And if it's not, meaning if, not saying that contrast is based on hate, but is there to show us something, right? So it's not quite at the frequency of unconditional love. Those are ways to test it. The relationships that we have, again, there's contrast there. And it's not to say, oh, I have to cut you off and I hate you because it's not unconditional love. It just means that does something need to be healed there to then clear and vibrate up to that unconditional love? Let me know if I'm making sense, because I feel like I'm still like pumped up and I have this clarity in my head, but it's not necessarily forming words or the right words I wanted to come out of my mouth. Now breathe, and I'm going to check on comments. Iona says, love you, love this process. Yeah, I know, right? You love that I love this process. And let me not forget to add, because I added this as well, the spiritual freedom, right? So Iona talks about spiritual freedom on Saturdays, higher vibrational frequency, being in that energy of spirit, our, right? Spiritual freedom, our spiritual self. Do we have the freedom to be fully us in that way? And I mean in that way because when Iona talked about this some on her live as well. So again, if you haven't watched her live yet, please go do that as well. When you're vibrating at a certain frequency and the people around you are vibrating at a different frequency, then we may have that feeling of detachment, or we may have that feeling of contrast, or we may have that feeling of conflict, or we may have that feeling that, misfit is what I usually say, like the misfit or not belonging. And then we may, our own human kind of steps in, like, what should you do about this? Sometimes we fight it off and other times we can let it go. And then other times we want to just, move back into solitude. I'm the type that likes to go into solitude. So are we free to be our full spiritual self? Are we free from all the gunk in our energy body that can allow us to vibrate up and be in alignment with unconditional love that comes through the crown chakra from God's first creator, right? Or are we still, I don't want to say trapped, or I don't feel like we're ever actually trapped. We might feel like it sometimes, but not actually, because we can choose to address it. We can choose to be aware of it. We can choose to see it, and we can choose to heal it and release it. Do we have the freedom to do that, or are we feeling that stuck? Do we feel stuck? Do we feel trapped? And if we feel stuck and trapped, then we don't have that spiritual freedom to really vibrate up, right? Okay, sorry. I said I was going to come to comments and then I got sidetracked again. So there it is. I would have said talk it out as it comes, and I did. So thank you for being patient while I went through that. Iona says, yeah, the mirror to show us it's not all our stuff. And it's not. It's not our stuff, but we have something in our experience or in our energy body from a memory of a past experience type of thing, right? Because that's what gets triggered is that old stuff. And that part is ours. So it's not necessarily what someone is doing or the characteristic they display, but it's the thing that they trigger. And then that trigger is for us to see, to allow that space and awareness for healing and clearing. That part is our stuff. But that's very different, isn't it? Iona says, yep, healed and a new approach and closure. Absolutely. Iona says, as soon as I walked in the door, I got such a lovely response and a massive reassurance that this environment is my own to be at home in, and it's not personal, and that it's about what they're used to. I love that. I'm so glad you got that. And it's so interesting you say that it's not personal, because earlier today, I caught myself getting, like, I was totally in an observation mode, which was great, perfect for the day, perfect for every day, but just saying our topic for today. And my mom got confused, and like it wasn't a big deal, but I noticed myself getting irritated because it's like I was explaining something like here's A, B, and C. Okay, well, A is different than the E from yesterday. Right now, today, like just trying to keep it simplified and broken down. A, this is where we're at, A. But there was confusion and, mixing things and then more confusion. And I could feel myself getting a little irritated, just inward irritated. Because I'm like, I don't understand. I don't understand how this can be misunderstood. But then just quickly, like, it's not personal. It's just, her brain is trying to analyze, and it doesn't have the full ability to analyze in the way she wants it to. And like, it's just a thing. Just keep it simple. Pick the one thing that's important, stick with that, try to let everything else go, you know? But just to be able to even reassure myself in that aspect of like, it's not personal, because she gets frustrated when she is confused, right? So then I used to internalize that frustration from her, which was her own, but I personalized it and took it within. And then I would get upset and hurt and triggered, right? It triggered a lot of old stuff in me. But yeah, thank you for sharing that. So I'm glad I can see in my own examples away from that, some of the things that she does that is so lovely, like the big hug I got, the other day. How nice it is to have that, right? We say we don't need it, and we don't technically have to have it, but it's so lovely when we get it. And this is Saturday. I miss the days. Today, right? Today's Saturday. Did I call it a different day? Because I do that sometimes. It says I had the phone ring in an interview 8 years ago and unplugged it for 7 years and then had them take it out because I never used it for the last year. I've been begging my mother to let me cancel this phone. I don't want it. I don't need it. She don't really need it. But it's that thing, right? Something she's had all this time. Like, she's had the same phone number since I was a kid, I believe. Pretty sure it's the same phone number. Like, so I keep saying, we never use this phone. Can we just get rid of it? She has a cell phone again, just a basic flip phone that also never uses. Like, but you have it if you needed it. So we could get rid of this one, but here we are. We'd miss our calls from spam risk, I guess. Excuse me. Iona says, I didn't give you a shout out today with the best you and self-care, but when I got home after being aware and assess and aligned, unconditional love was expressed so beautifully. That's fine. I appreciate the shout outs you give, and they don't have to give them all the time. I do love that though, the unconditional love. And it was funny too, just for topic conversation. I was like, should I bring that in? Because that's really tomorrow's conversation. I'm thinking, no, you know what? I could just talk it out for both. There's really so much, we can go so deep with all of it, right? So however it comes in each day and making those connections is amazing. And I do love that expression of unconditional love. And in that book, The Psychic Pathway, she said ground. So I did, and put my feet on the ground in the street. And she said people's feelings influencing ours, and our job is to ground in Mother Earth. I love that. That is beautiful. Did some grounding last night. I don't know if you saw my post. I almost did a live just to like hang out, see if anybody hopped on and wanted to, virtually hang out at the fire with me. But I stuck my bare feet on the ground last night too and really thought about connecting with the earth and, basking in the energy of the fire, and then just looking up and gazing at the stars. And it was pretty nice. It was really nice. That grounding is so important too, isn't it? We talked about that earlier in the week as well. It's not sidetracked, it's your show. Thank you for that. Yeah, I'd find a better word for it, right? Just flow. Iona says we do have stuff that triggers, but it isn't always for us to fix. The situation's not. No, no, the situation is not. And other people's stuff is not. Our own triggers are, of course. Whatever it is that's within us in our own field, that's for us to fix, but not the rest of it. Absolutely not. Anna says it's not always personal, and sometimes we get things triggered to see how far we have come, and our old reactions are not dragging us aligned. I hear you. I can't remember why I said Saturday. I do that too all the time. It was great. And it says my dad had the same phone number for years, and that's something. I mean, I now have had mine. I try to keep mine now because I've been using it for business, my cell phone, but the house phone, like, we don't even need it anymore. And in a sense, it's still digital because it goes through our, what do you even call them now? Like our whatever provider does the TV, our internet, the phone, cell phone. Like, they do it all now. Iona says, me at the campfire and stargazing. Yeah, I thought of you too. I absolutely thought of you. I think of you when I hear grounding. Awesome. I'm glad. And it's funny because I took a selfie. I was kind of pointing at myself and I was going to plaster it and be like, when you see this face, I didn't think I could get like that expression in there though. When you see this face, I want you to think of self-care, self-love, and self-worth. This face is supposed to be a reminder. Sorry, that's funny. That just made me think of that. I've not posted that anywhere. It just was like a thought I had. Anna says we both got a chance to see how our reactions, quote unquote, would have been. So the trigger takes us on a different path, which is awesome. It is. That is. And that's part of that healing and clearing, isn't it? I love that. I know, right? It's great. It is great. So also, Iona, for you specifically, I was thinking about the things that were clicking in today and then just sitting with it some more and letting things. You had said something. Was it on your live? Nope, I think it was in the team chat about how a masterclass pulls things together. And I'll start with webinars, right, to kind of lean into the masterclass. But this alignment piece, what do I keep saying? But be aware, assess, and align. And I think I mentioned in back channels before that those would be like that, those 3 steps of my masterclass. And it's so funny. It's like I couldn't even envision, can't say it exactly, but I didn't know clearly, fully what that was going to look like. And it's a process to get there, right? But I really felt like and knew, had like a sense of knowing that aware, assess, and align were going to be a big part of that. And then I had these little pieces, right, that I felt like would be a part of that. And I feel like this is definitely a part of that. Align, alignment, all the things I just mentioned today about alignment in that Johari window, because, excuse me, in the Johari window, and we have that those blind areas. And those blind areas are part of our subconscious mind, right? It's that part of our energy field that we are just not humanly aware of, but exists and then affects how we vibrate, it affects our frequency, affects then what we are aligning. So then how, right? Or to go through those steps to be aware, to assess, to align with unconditional love, with God, Source, Creator, with our highest self. That, I feel like that is my, let me say it this way, my first webinar. Let's see. Iona says, I say a lot of things. I feel like I do too. And that's good, right? Because we just let it flow. Excuse me. Yep, not straight to the masterclass. Webinars are super salesy for me. I don't understand what you're saying there because I feel like it's got, I never did understand that, to be honest. It's got to start somewhere. So then where does it start? I can't remember what I said, but said, I'm thinking it was in the team chat. I'm not sure. Only my masterclass, we have one. Right. But then you also teach that in order to have a masterclass, you have to have like people go through it and then you have to have testimonials, but you have to actually do something to get testimonials, right? We are doing a masterclass only. So start with that and then just build it up after I get testimonials. Here's a training session online. There you go. How do we do that? I wonder if you're like typing away right now. Or if you're going to message me privately. I don't know. That's okay. Either way, I see this as being a thing, right? Okay, so I can use the ones I have. Okay, so that must be just my confusion. See, sometimes, well, you know this, sometimes my mind, for those who don't know, sometimes my mind goes like, it hones in, but doesn't collect everything, I think, when it hones in. So when I honed in on the idea of the masterclass and having testimonials, I had the confusion of, well, you need testimonials to have a master class, but how will I know if my master class, like as a standalone, right? Because I was seeing it, that there it is. I was seeing it as a standalone would be like helpful and have, so yeah, that makes more sense. It's not, see, look at that, everybody. So whoever is watching this on replay, this is how my mind works, and things click finally. Um, but it reminded me of driver's license. So Iona, you were sharing this about your, not that I'm sure all your business, but your niece getting her driver's license. I can remember as a teenager, like I I needed a car to drive to work, right? I was in high school and we were on one of those programs where you went to school half a day and you worked half a day. So I needed a car, transportation to go to school, to leave school to go to work, right? Because my parents worked, so they weren't going to drive me and they didn't bus you for those things. But my dad would always say, "Well, you're going to have to get a job if you want a car. How are you going to pay for a car without a job?" I'm like, "Well, how am I going to get money and get a job without a car?" It felt like a catch-22, right? You need one to get the other. Chicken or the egg comes first kind of thing. So I was getting caught in that same mental process over this masterclass idea because this is new to me. I'm not a business-minded person. I have shared that before. This is oh, I only get so challenged trying to teach me because when you talk about teaching someone brand new, that's me. Not always full resistance. It's also unknowing resistance. Like I just don't know. Um, I do have testimonies, you're right, from some of my other programs. Yep, coolness. Anna says, love you. I love you too. I am typing away. It's funny. I kind of had this visual like, oh. Anna says, I don't think you had testimonials or a soul signature system. Not like I do now. Not at all like I do now. Had no video ones, that's for sure. I think I had a couple. Well, okay, I just bit my tongue on snarkiness. Facebook, I had in my business page, I had some like reviews and testimonials on there. I believe I've lost them now because they did away with that. Um, yeah, but anyway, I didn't have the same system, that's for sure. It is a beautiful journey. Share away, thank you. I forgot to say my son was with her today to tie it into Spiritual Freedom Sunday. Oh, right. Yeah, we had the benefit of hearing that on the team chat. That was beautiful. Oops, I missed one. Iona says, haha, your dad and that voice. Oh my gosh, my poor dad. Yeah, I've done a lot of healing with him as well while he was still here and some thereafter, right? But that's okay energetically. You have done amazing. Thank you for that. Thank you. Iona says, yeah, not like you do now and all the things. It's super clear now. And it is for sure. Like seeing how each of these pieces all fit together. And again, like hearing you say that, and I know you've said it before. I know you've said it before. But we have to be in the alignment in that space to receive it, right? Oh, and that receiving, hello, crown chakra, unconditional love. I talk, I talk about that tomorrow too, right? Receiving. And that is another part of it. So when we are aware and we do assess, we get into alignment, then do we allow ourselves to receive it? And that is a whole thing in itself, which is all a part of this clearing process too, right? But truly allowing ourselves to receive it. How often, and again, I've shared before and how I've blocked it, hence Money Blocks Clearing Challenge, how I blocked my own abilities to receive, how many times I put my hand up and said, no, thank you, instead of allowing myself to receive. Who else, right? Who else? When you need help, you don't ask, or when it's offered, you don't accept. That's part of receiving it. If we're not in that vibrational energy to receive it, it just sits there. So I now have this visual. Again, I really need someone to get in my head and create little clips for me of my visuals. Um, Now I lost it. I had just saw, so Esther Abraham Hicks, right? When they talk about alignment, asking it is given. You ask, it's given. It just basically waits for us to be in alignment to receive it, right? So I kind of just envision that as if I asked for this, I asked, boom, it's given. And then I feel like when I'm blocking it, oh, where is it? Where is it? Can't see it, can't find it. Where'd it go? I'm waiting, but I did it. I'm waiting, right? I'm in alignment. I did my affirmations. I did my clearing. Why isn't it here? Why isn't it here? Hey, Robin, can I help you? No, thanks. Sorry. I'm laughing at myself though. It's like it's right here in front of my face, but I have to be willing to accept it and receive it, right? That. That. Oh my goodness. And how many years? Iona, it's funny because we talk about these things and, I lose track of time, right? And one benefit of Facebook is the memories that'll pop up. And some of the things that pop up have been from like 2012, 2011, 2010, when I was watching Abraham Hicks, when I watched the movie The Secret. It's been 2009, 2009, 2010, 2008. Dude, it's been a long time. So when you look at it like that, and you're like, all this time, and it just now pops in this visual way, right, for me to see it. So that accepting and receiving, which is part of that clearing those blocks out of the way. I'm going to come back to comments. I'm looking to see where I left off. I'm sorry. I think right here. Iona says, I probably did say it before, not going to lie. Being ready and being willing to do the work to get there. And you have done that. Most people don't. Thank you. Thank you. Now allowing myself to receive, right? The visuals, they just crack me up. And I really do wish I probably could. And again, I think I'm just choosing not to spend the time to try. I probably really could do it myself because I do. And sometimes I like to play with, why, I don't know, you know this, because sometimes I do that, right? We get on a thing and I start talking or chatting like, oh, and then I hop on Canva and I create these little memes or thumbnails or whatever. And you're like, dude, just stop. But it's the visual for me. So I probably could, but I just have not spent the time to do so. Iona says, yep. Oh, barn in, waiting, my dude, and waiting, right? And I feel like it's like so close. It may not be like right here, but it's here in this vicinity. Again, I'm trying to going fast, but if you can see that, it's in our field and just waiting, right, for us to clear the blocks, the stuff out of the way to receive it. And never mind, I won't say it. That was for me anyway. It's okay. Piss myself laughing. No thanks. Yeah, that for sure. And it says, oh my God, those memories for years. Literally, like over a decade. Over a decade. Many, many years. Yeah, it was 2008 for me. Oh, how cool. I'm thinking it was too, because I was trying to think of where I was working. Because where I worked at the time, we showed the video there, was allowed to show the video there to help give the residents another perspective, right? To not blame, shame, and guilt. I do think some people take it that way when we say, hey, this is on you. You have an opportunity. You can change this. That people then feel like, oh, you're blaming me. And it's not blame, shame, and guilt. It's empower. It's meant to be empowering. Like you're not as helpless as you feel like you might feel you are, right? Sometimes we feel helpless. Like we feel like there is no control over something. We're just stuck with it. And it's a way of saying you're not stuck with it. It's very empowering. But I'm thinking, and I worked in that job from, I believe it was 2008 until 2010, something like that. Again, memory and time do not suit me well, but it was around the same time. Dude, dude, out of the way. For real, like that visual, and that's something like that really hits me to think that asking it is given. Boom, here you go. And then it's up to us to basically say, oh, thank you, and receive it. Instead of this. Like, where's that? I don't see it. I don't see it because I'm blocking my view of it. And what am I blocking my view of it with? It's part of today. It's part of being the observer, part of getting into self, that inner awareness, assessing where we're at. Do we see it? Is it here? Are we receiving it? And if not, getting into alignment so we do. Big stuff. Iona says you do with the visuals. Dude, just stop. but I won't. I won't. I did more, actually. I have more visuals. Not in-depth ones. I may use them for thumbnails like in the next. So 49 days of self-care, right? Sounds like seasons to me for podcasting. So to differentiate the seasons, then I intend to use different thumbnails for like the videos, like even on Spotify and YouTube. I'm actually testing a theory with Rumble and not using thumbnails for a little bit to see what happens. My views have gone up on Rumble though, and I've gotten some. I don't know. I'm not going to speak to that one, but I want engagement, obviously. So it starts with a view, I guess. People have to see us, kind of like that awareness, got to see us to engage with us. So it's a start. Not hung up on it, but it's a start. Again, going to start asking for more. Not just engagement, but just the conversation, right? I was thinking communication, but the conversation. You say the conversation. Thank you for being on here. I do enjoy the laughs too. It's amazing. I love visuals, but I don't think I said stop. No, I don't think you said stop either. That was me. You were just like, don't get ahead of yourself, like that. Because, what I say along with the visuals is like, oh, I have these visuals and I can use it for this and this and this and this and this. And then it sounds like I went way off in left field. And that you're like, get back here. Stop that. Get over here. But it's not stopping the visuals. It's stop going out in left field with them. But yeah, anyway, it's still funny to hear or funny to say. Yeah, probably stop. Yeah, that for sure. That for sure. I didn't pull up my cheat sheet for you guys for today. Yes, I did. Here it is. Or it was still up from yesterday, actually. So, homework with all that being said, be aware, assess where you're at, and see how you are in alignment. If you are not in alignment yet with your highest, with that unconditional love of God, Source, Creator, what is an action step you can take to then get into that alignment? And again, that action step doesn't mean you have to jump a lake to get there, right? We don't have to skip steps or skip the process to get there, quote unquote, get there. It's just what is one layer that we can give our attention to? What's that one thing that, and it might be that trigger, Iona, I'm finding more and more, and we say this, but sometimes, right, we don't give it the attention and the gratitude and the credit it deserves when it does. I did a weird look with that credit because sometimes it doesn't feel like it's such a beautiful thing in the moment. But the reason, I'm sure the reasons why we have these triggers, like we just talked today, is to give us the opportunity in our awareness to see where we are. So, like you said, on one hand, we're reflecting back to say, look how far we've come. And there might be more for us. And it's okay if there is. There's no blame, shame, and guilt in that. It's just the opportunity to say, oh, maybe there's some residual energy left over that still needs some clearing. Okay, that's cool. Again, we're normalizing the process, right? I think we push it away too much, or we have too much as a collective. We think that we have to get there wherever there is, and then skip everything in between. And it's the everything in between that helps us get to that energy of unconditional love. So the triggers, to give them the credit that they deserve, that's the thing. It's like, hello, maybe you weren't, paying attention to the subtle clues. You heard yourself say something, but it just kind of went through and beyond, right? So like I'd still listen to my replays, and it's so cool too. This is cool too for growth, personal growth. I used to listen to my replays of videos. I don't want to say to criticize it, but in a way, like, because I had all that fear of camera and stuff, right? And what if I fumble and all my oopses and oh no's and how many times I say, or right, or whatever, or get stuck, or how long did I pause, or right? So I was checking myself. I wanted to see how I did, if it was okay, if it was good enough, right? I was testing the worthiness of my videos. It's really cool because now I go back and listen just to hear what I said because I know that things are coming through me that I might miss. And I don't want to miss it because it came through me for me first, right? It comes through us first for us. And then we share it for whoever else might need it, whenever they might need it, because energy is not bound to time or space. So if somebody comes back to YouTube, I don't know if you would find it on Facebook, no offense, Facebook, but if somebody came back to YouTube and saw this exact video 10 years from now, they might hear what they needed to hear in that moment, right? And I'm saying it now. But I want to hear it because I know I needed to hear it first. So trying to be more aware of what I'm saying as it comes through to see what is for me and what I need to assess that. So those trigger moments, am I still being triggered? Is there some residual energy left over? Is there more that I need to clear? And again, that's fine. No blame, shame, or guilt. But allowing the space for that to occur so I can get into alignment with my highest and allow, accept, and receive the energy of unconditional love, right? So before I go back to my cheat sheet, let me come back over here for comments. Okay, so gotta see where I left off. Iona says, so now we see, ready for the master class. I think so, right? Yeah? Homework. Yes, ma'am. Truth, right? Iona says, definitely normalizing. And that's when we listen to these quote unquote gurus on podcasts tell the stories of trauma of years and suffering behind closed doors, for sure. On the way to quote unquote success. It is too, right? Iona says, Defo, it's for me first. LOL, yeah, not FB, but definitely 10 years on YouTube. For sure, yeah, I think so. Because how many times I know for myself do I go on YouTube? You talk about this too, Iona. And a video pops up, or we're watching a video, it's from 8 years ago, 10 years ago, right? Unfortunately, on Facebook, things seem to get lost in wherever, whatever it is, algorithms, or just how they set up their stuff and what's being shown and what isn't and what orders. And so it's really difficult and challenging to find, like a live or another video on YouTube or on Facebook, where YouTube is much easier. Excuse me. Iona says, I stopped watching my live so frequently. It's every now and then when I can't remember what I said. Yeah, I hear you. There'll probably come a time where I don't. Probably. Right now, though, I enjoy listening and kind of picking up, and it's helping me in my journaling process too. So for now, I'm going to enjoy this process, which is really neat. There might come a time when, nah, I'm just going to leave it. I'm not going to predict. I'm just going to make a prediction. I'm not gonna manifest it. I'm just going to see what happens because I wouldn't have predicted this at all. I just wouldn't have. How things click in, how each piece combines with the next, how everything flows. Like I would not have guessed at all. So I'm just not even going to try. I used to try. So third eye chakra in the brow, right? So everything that I mentioned today is a reflection of the third eye chakra, the energy in our third eye chakra in the pineal gland. So the work that we do, and by work I just mean what I'm doing right now, if you want to call that work, I call it healing hands. Just placing your hand over your chakra and allowing the body to do what it does, right? The body knows how to heal itself. So just allowing that energy to balance itself, to get into alignment, so that we can slow down and take a great look within and see ourselves without that fear. You guys, I used to be scared to death to look at me. And I know there's different reasons why some people like have a thing about mirrors and what they represent, like portals and things. And for some, like for myself, I truly believe that I used to hate looking in the mirror just because I didn't like me, right? I didn't like looking at me. I didn't like what I saw. I didn't like how I felt. And I internalized all the things that other people projected out on me as me. So it's quite ugly, right? So to be able to clear a lot of these things away and shift and see myself as, the spiritual being that I am and being higher than just a human, just quotes, a human being, and to be able to accept me and have love for me allows me to look in that mirror a little better. And again, that is part of that healing process oftentimes, though, is that reflection in the mirror to let us see what needs healed Not to blame, shame, and guilt and beat ourselves up and be disgusted with ourselves, but to see what needs healed, what needs our attention. That's all. We just misunderstand it, I think. So allowing the energy to heal so that we can feel okay, that spiritual freedom to look within, hold space for the human. I feel like that's part of that spiritual freedom too, right? Holding space for that human. See what all can come up by just putting your hand on your forehead and allowing that energy to align. I'll stop. Color therapy. The third eye chakra, the color that resonates with the third eye chakra is indigo. So like a really deep blue, almost like a deep purplish. From if you're looking on a color chart or a rainbow, it's that shift from the blue to the purple, right? Or that combination of the two. The solfeggio frequency that resonates with the third eye chakra is 852 hertz. So if you like to play those solfeggio frequencies and meditate to them, or even just allow that vibration, when you use tuning forks or listen to music that is tuned to that 852 hertz or whatever hertz you're listening to for each chakra, just listening in itself and allowing that same vibration to be in your energy field in itself is healing. Like I like sleeping to solfeggio frequencies. I let the energy do its thing while I sleep. Affirmations and reflection. I see. Take a look around you to allow yourself to see where you're at, what you've been calling in. What do you see repeating itself, right? That's what we're in alignment with in this moment. Is that in alignment with unconditional love? Is what you're seeing come to you in alignment with unconditional love? And if not, that's okay. No blame, shame, and guilt. But then how do we heal it, right? Do some more reflecting and affirmations. What do you want to see? What would it look like if it was in alignment with unconditional love? And then that is your affirmations, right? And the element of the third eye chakra is light. Light. So allowing yourself to be in light, imagining light, even that indigo, right? The indigo, or I like using pure white light to be honest for energy. But either one, indigo or pure white light, focusing on the third eye chakra and just imagining that expand. It's very, very healing. Let me come back and check on comments before I let you go. So that was homework, by the way. Pick any of those that you wish. Journal on them. Let us know. Drop them in the comments. Trying to see where I left off in the comments. Here we go. Nona says, I've done it for years, like over a decade, though. Oh, I got you. Yeah, I have not been doing it that long yet. Yeah. Nona says, it helps us put our process together 1,000,000%. I agree, for sure. It's a process within itself, right? Aha, dude, stop. Joking. I know, right? Get your hand off your forehead. You're going on another rant. Thank you for today. Absolutely. And thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your live and your shout outs and your love and your support and your knowledge on this journey of spiritual business and making all the connections and how we can show up and speak out and serve deep. Again, also check our descriptions. I'm sorry, my description. I have our links for our live calls. So hop on those, get on the Zooms. Let's have a conversation. It only costs you a little bit of time and energy. I will see you tomorrow for crown chakra healing. So much love. Bye, guys.